So guys, here we are, the final defining moment. From the Let's Play, you can probably tell, between the recording of 14 and 15, I farmed a lot. But I always do. Ever since my first playthrough of Demon Souls, I have always farmed as much as I can. Because I know by the time New Game Plus starts, it only gets harder. Now before tackling what exactly my theory is, what this boss fight meant, and the true ending as a whole, I'm going to talk about Demon Souls and the foolish King Alon. When you approach the end of Demon Souls, it's revealed completely that the Old One is a giant being of evil responsible for all the demons, the colorless fog, and false King Alon. Not only that, but he is very tree-like, like a demon version of the Tree of Life. And I've always taken this from it, that the Old One is the monstrosity created from all the wickedness, the evil, the greed, the lust for power that festered and grew since the beginning of time. The same beast from Kingsfield that was created from all of the evil in our foolish hearts. That was dormant and sleeping, waiting to be awakened. The Maiden in Black tells you she watches over the Old One and waits to lull it back to slumber, as it should remain. Of course, the greedy and foolish King Alon did indeed awaken the Old One, in search of a higher power. His greed and lust led him to find the Old One. And when he awoke, Alon was turned into a vessel to feed the Old One's power. And the false King Alon demon was created, taking his place in Boletaria, carrying out the Old One's desires, corrupting and turning all of King Alon's highest ranking men, the ones closest to him, into foul demons just like the false King Alon, and what truly Alon became when you find him at the end of the game. This right here does nothing but remind me of Tolkien and Lovecraft. In Tolkien, there was a dark evil that could not be dealt with, only destroyed. Just like the Souls series Old One, and how once it's awakened, it's already too late. And once it's awakened, we can do nothing but destroy it. But the Old One always rises again in a new way or form, which is Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne. And guys, I love it. It's everything I love about fantasy all mixed and concocted into a video game universe. What I've always pulled from the endings previous to Bloodborne was that you are the one who craves souls. The chosen one who always defiles and eradicates the infamous Old One. The tale of the end of each era and vanquishing the Old One's evil, putting it to sleep once again. But I've always believed, like Alon, Gwyn, and Vendrick, that after the credits roll when the next game comes around, my character is the new reason that the Old One is awakened, like an incessant loop of evil, that even if you do eradicate it, it will always rise again. For men are always wicked, foul, and corrupt. And when it rises in a new form, it will always find a way to strike a deal with you. Now, Bloodborne. A new area opens up in Hunter's Dream, and the doll tells you to go to the Great Tree, only reminding me of the Old One's incarnation in Demon Souls. So through the gate I went. Flowers and tombstones were everywhere. I could only think they were every hunter that had failed. And you see the Great Tree, and I had waves of Demon Souls flashbacks. Could it really be everything I've hoped for? Just like Demon Souls, could the Old One be waiting for me? The fact the Great Tree was behind the Hunter's workshop made me believe that it truly was just like Demon Souls. That this tree, the Hunter's Dream itself, was the Nexus and the Well of Souls, where the Old One was hiding in Demon Souls. It has to be. And then I saw Jermaine sitting under the tree, just like I remember Alon in his monstrous, disgusting form in Demon Souls. Before I fully talked to him, I ate all 3 of the umbilical cords. As I did, I realized I did exactly what he wanted, transcended the hunt, digesting the pale blood. But I was still asking myself why. Could Jermaine be the first hunter simply because he is the main vessel for the Old One? Not Willem, as I've been thinking this entire time? Could he have awoken the Old One and began the nightmare once again, just like Alon did with Boletaria? But thinking back, they said Willem found the Forsaken Blood deep under Yharnam, implying the Chalice Dungeon. Before I could continue thinking, I talked to Jermaine. He claims the night is at its end. Then he attempts to strike a deal, only further reminding me of the Old One, making him seem more and more like a vessel, just like Willem was, just like Michaelash was. Saying I will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun. I will forget this terrible hunter's dream. As if not even his own thought. As if the Old One put the idea of the hunt into his head, leading me to believe that Jermaine, the first hunter, is Lawrence. That maybe he is the original king along with the Thumerian queen, the real queen of Yharnam. But of course, I refuse his offer. When you refuse, he stands up, saying it doesn't matter. Like, if you don't submit, you'll die like all the rest of the hunters who have failed. But failed what, I thought? Transcending the hunt and giving up? Something didn't make sense. Claiming he's the hunter's helper and always has to clean up the messes, as if he was referring to me as an experiment. Thinking back to the beginning, I did wake up on a gurney. And then Jermaine joins the hunt. And let me be honest, guys, if you haven't mastered the parry in this fight, it'll take a bit. Luckily, the Souls community is a helpful bunch of guys, and I took him down with ease. With the final hit, he says, "The night and dream were long." I felt this quickly implied this era of the old one, just like the end of Demon Souls when you lull the old one back to slumber, just like when you kill Gwen and light the fire, or even felling Nashandra. But then, because I ate the umbilical cords and refused this deal with the devil, something descended from the sky itself. I thought back to the note, and the great ones will descend. I was almost petrified by its design. It was impeccably Cthulhu-like. But at the same time, I could see the design from Amygdala, Rom, the Wet Nurse, and the Daughters of the Cosmos, proving my theory that they were all born from this being. It got down on all fours like a spider, or even remembering the colossal old one and how it was very beast-like. It grabs you and holds you in its hand, forcing you to look into it, which looked like the emblem we saw in Amygdala's chamber, and on the carriage, and everywhere else in the game, even the upper cathedral ward door. Was this how it dominated the minds of Jermaine and Willem and all the rest, forcing you to look into the abyss, spreading its evil and burning corruption? It then embraces you, and a luminescent light bursts from you, almost as if it's hugging you. And then the fight began, reminding me of the Wet Nurse and Amygdala. This must be it. The old one. Its title was the Moon Presence. This whole Mensis ritual in the children must only be to spread the old one, the Moon Presence's power. To feed it, for it to grow. And as we can see, it's nowhere near the size of the original old one. Perhaps, after the generations of defeat, this is the story of how it was coming back to power. Being awoken by Jermaine and being used as a vessel. I believe him trying to offer to kill us was him trying to make the old one stronger, starting the incessant cycle over again. And with all the great ones and the old ones only existing in the dreams, I feel this is a prime clue of how they're still growing in power and too weak from constant defeat. So the old one started the nightmare to grow, only continuing the series for the next Souls entry. When the Moon Presence is defeated, it says Nightmare Slain, just like when we defeated the Wet Nurse. I could only ponder, have we just ended the cycle of the old one just like we did in Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Dark Souls 2? A cutscene instantly plays, and it shows a slug-type creature, and the doll picks it up. The only thing she says is, "Oh, good, Hunter." And I realized that this was us. Going back even further than the first cutscene itself, I came to the conclusion that Bloodborne is nothing other than a retelling of the old one coming back to power. And all of this transcending the hunt, obtaining the pale blood, I realized I was wrong. It wasn't the umbilical cords. It was the Moon Presence itself. Like the entire time playing, we were taking place in a prophecy, revealing a giant twist in my face. That this isn't just a retelling, it is a story about how you are the old one. How your character transcended the hunt, ended the cycle, but in doing so, you were the one hungry for blood. The one who craves souls. The unnamed one. My mind imploded in 23 different ways. The Souls games to me is, and always will be, about the lurking evil that can only be destroyed, but always will be born again. In conclusion of this brilliant game, here's what I believe happened. After the events of Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2 and the old one being vanquished, a new one rose from the depths of the earth. I believe at one time Yharnam was in fact in a state of peace and prosperity, but the king and queen awoke the old one deep within the hearts of Yharnam. It penetrated their foolish minds, striking them deals, or perhaps just Jermaine himself. With this began the hunt. I believe possibly Willem was with Jermaine as well, taking the beast bloods in whatever form it was. And so the old one made Willem go back to Cainhurst. And at this point I believe Jermaine traveled back only to spread the thoughts and power of the old one, already being a vessel, creating the abandoned workshop. After Willem created the first of the Vile Bloods, I believe he went back to Bergenworth and betrayed the scholars, making them all drink the blood and performing experiments on them. Michael Ash then created the portal in Bergenworth, and with the Scourge of the Blood and the creation of the Vile Bloods, that insanity did nothing but spread just like Cthulhu's evil, finding its way into each and every person in Yharnam, growing in power as the Nightmare Frontier was created, and people started turning into beasts. This is when all the experiments went full force into the Nightmare Frontier, possibly sending them through the portal back into Yharnam, devouring and turning everyone into beasts. More and more the corruption spread. When it spread enough and the nightmare became real and Yharnam streets roamed with beasts and the corrupted, Amygdala, Ram, and Abritus were created. The perfect creations created by Mycolash with the Old One's blood, knowledge, and foreboding power. That's when the Unseen Village became unseen, and from the Upper Cathedral Ward, the Unseen Village, and all the way to the depths under Yharnam in the Chalice Dungeons, everything was tainted by the Old One, and as it spread its evil, it grew through the nightmares it created. Constantly creating hunters trying to find the perfect offspring. At the point of the hunters constantly being eradicated and being reborn from their remains and blood, constantly feeding the Old One just below Yharnam, being fed through the moon presence, Germain, and the rest. Waiting for you, the chosen unnamed one, the successful offspring of the Old One, to carry out its vision and feed on all the blood you can find, transcending the hunt, killing the moon presence, and all the other great ones so that you, the Old One, can obtain all the power possible from the nightmares it's created from Yharnam since it has awakened, and rise again for the next soul entry. That is Bloodborne. And thanks for tuning in, guys. This is the end of my lore series on Bloodborne. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed talking about it with you guys, and sharing with you my take on the Soul series as a whole and Bloodborne. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see more of. And hey, don't forget to hit subscribe to see Bruce and I every weekend. We've got a Mortal Kombat Let's Play coming up, and man, it's awesome. And just after that, The Witcher 2, guys. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe The Witcher 3 is only a few weeks away, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite hyped. Until next time, friends. Fucking yes. Whoa. Whoa, what? Whoa! This is some crazy fucking shit. Dude.
Are you cold?
Of course.
Oh, good hunter.